This is Inside Troy Athletics, a look at what's going on and what's coming up for Troy University's Trojans. Now, here's your host for Inside Troy Athletics, Jonathan Sellers.
Hello, welcome to Inside Troy Athletics. I'm your host, Jonathan Sellers, and joined this week by my side is the Director of Athletics for Troy University, and that's Jeremy McLean. And Jeremy, football got started this weekend, and I know a lot of excitement around campus and over on y'all's side of campus, and a big win. It turned out great for the university, great weather, and a great victory.
Yeah, it really was a good weekend all the way around. Like you said, the weather cooperated. It ended up being a beautiful day, and the Trojans played well. Correct. So it always makes it a fun weekend. You know, good crowd. Our students, I have to give them a lot of credit. They showed up and packed the student section, which always brings great energy.
Right.
And so we're very thankful for that. But a great atmosphere all the way around. Really something for us to build on. I think just as the coaches go back and review film from game one and they figure out where they want to improve, we as an administration try to take the game day experience and take a total look at that and try to keep improving every time we go out there. And so we'll do that, and we look forward to being back at home in about 3 weeks.
I know something you had mentioned last week was some of the new sights and sounds people would see. I noticed right when you walk in the stadium and through the concourse, you saw all kinds of banners and different things displaying tradition and just the history of Troy University. Kind of go through what brought those about.
Yeah, we talked about that. When I got here last year, we started having that conversation about we need to make sure we're celebrating our history, for one thing, because it is a very, very strong tradition and something to be very proud of. And so we wanted to make an effort to do that. There's some challenges within our stadium. Our concourse is somewhat limited in the space.
Right.
And so we don't have a lot of opportunities to utilize that area, but we found some creative ways. And you probably saw some banners around the edges of the field.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really was an opportunity for us just to make sure that, number one, that we're celebrating our history. Number two, we're just giving a fresher, cleaner look to the stadium. And then also, all of our games are on television. Right. So we need to remember that. And so we designed that in a way that, those camera angles and those opportunities to be on television, that we're getting good shots. And, I always go back and watch the games late at night when I get back home. And so, that shot of the new graphics and the student section behind our players making plays was a lot of fun to watch.
And something else we talked about last week was all the new people that we're going to get to play. And it was evidence on Saturday, plenty of true freshmen, plenty of redshirt freshmen, two quarterbacks that are freshmen, both one with a big touchdown pass, one with a big touchdown run. So just a lot of people getting experience in that type of atmosphere is a big deal.
It really is, and I think we saw that in the scrimmages leading up to, to the actual game, that our freshmen kept making plays, right. And you wondered how that was going to translate, but it really did. The nature of that game allowed us to play a lot of people, which was really good. And I think we'll play a lot of people again this coming week, and that's a great opportunity for our young guys to get in there, and they took advantage of the opportunities. Right. Like you said, our quarterbacks, running backs, some guys up front, right. and so really proud of the way they performed. And it should excite our fan base because we got several years with that group of guys.
That's exactly right. And you mentioned this week coming up is a tough test. Number 2 team in the country right now, and that's Clemson. Troy's going to travel up there. They did a few years ago and played pretty tight, but again, a different Clemson team this time around. And so that'll be a fun one for these young guys and the old ones, a test to pull off an upset.
Absolutely. It's probably one of the best teams we've ever played. Right. I mean, if we're being really candid about it, they're a very talented roster, very talent-laden roster, and they're a really solid team, and really in every facet. So it'll be a great challenge for our guys. But our guys, they're excited about that. They're excited about the opportunity to go compete in a stadium that holds that many people, right. And in that kind of atmosphere in Death Valley, and compete against a really talented roster. So they'll be ready to play, and as we always do, we'll line up and see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to get to go up there personally. I got to go up a few years ago, and it's a great atmosphere. I know there's probably still tickets available to get up there maybe, but if not, it will be locally on TV that you can watch it as well.
That's right. We'll be broadcast. WSFA will be broadcasting that in the local area, and so we're excited about that opportunity. It's don't get a chance to do that as often maybe as we would like, and so I appreciate them stepping up and making that happen. But it'd be a great opportunity for our folks who can't see it in this region, who can't make it to be able to watch it on television. So that's a great asset for us.
And something else we just learned about the football team was an announcement about future games, and that was a deal signed with Akron. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, so couple of years ago when UAB disbanded their program before they brought it back, we had them scheduled for some games, and it created some kind of domino effect on our schedule. And then we had an opportunity where NC State needed to push their game back a year, and so we had some holes kind of open up in our schedule. And so Akron was looking for an opportunity, a game. So we signed a series with them beginning in Troy in 2017. So next season, and then we'll go back to Akron in 2019. So feel like it fits our schedule well, puts us in a position next year where we want to be. We've got a big game on the road next year. If I've got my years right, going to LSU.
That's right.
And so that really kind of lines up as far as making our schedule look the way we want it to look, and so a good series with a group of 5 opponent. And so in the other piece of that release today, we highlighted in 2019, we'll actually travel to Missouri and play in 2019. So it's the other piece of the schedule that was a part of that release. And we're excited about going back to Missouri. Obviously the history of Missouri there and our fan base, and so excited about the opportunity to go back and play them.
And I know that has been a goal in recent years, was to kind of get away from playing so many money games, as they've been called, but to play maybe one of those a year and then Group 5 games or FCS games, and that's really turned out well.
It has, and that's going to be our scheduling philosophy. It's now we'll take some home-and-home series with FBS teams when we can get them. With Power 5 teams when we can get them. But we'll have, we'll always have some Group of 5 opponents, home and homes, each year on our schedule, and so this really fit into that model.
All right, well, let's talk about some of the other teams in action over the weekend. Soccer, I know they had a kind of a tough trip. They went up to UT Martin and then playing Ole Miss, 2 close games, but 2 losses for them. Yeah,
tough trip, but very young squad there, and I think talking to Coach Hamilton today, I think there was a lot of learning on that road trip, which will hopefully benefit us later in the year. Ole Miss is a really solid club, made a great run into the postseason last year, and played them really, really close. I think they scored a goal in the last 10 minutes of that game, and to go ahead 1-0. And so that was really, I think, a positive. Moving into this week, where we go on the road to Mercer, and then at Florida State on Sunday, and so will be another challenging piece of our schedule. But I know our young squad will continue to compete and grow up as the year goes on.
Right, I know, and this is kind of true for all the sports, but I know for the coaches, a lot of this is kind of preseason, still getting them ready for what's important to them, and that's the conference schedule.
Yeah, it is, and I think credit to Coach Hamilton. I think he's really tried to, as you can tell by the teams I've mentioned, you're going to Ole Miss, you're going to Florida State. He's really tried to create a schedule that will do exactly that, prepare us for conference play, and where there really are no surprises. When we get to some of those tougher teams in our conference, our athletes have faced that level of competition.
And then our volleyball team, they were at home for a tournament, had several teams come in. Again, some tough losses for them, but they did pick up a victory on Friday against Southern.
Yeah, good tournament all the way around. Had a good group of teams in. We're able to pick up the victory on Friday, and they'll have another tournament this weekend, and hopefully build on what they've been working towards. And again, really kind of have a young roster as well. And as time goes on, I know Coach is looking for improvement for them.
I know cross country had their first action of the weekend. They were at Jacksonville State, and the men, after some tough years, finally look like they may be coming back with a second place finish up there.
Yeah, that's great. Really excited for the men's side to finish second, right behind Auburn, I think, in that race. And so it's a great next step for us as we've Coach Elliott's done a great job of growing that program now in year 3 and seeing some solid signs of progress. And now we've got some sophomores and juniors on that squad, whereas we had a lot of freshmen over the past year too. And so excited about that, and the women as well. Although they finished 7th maybe in their race, I think there's some positives there and something for them to build on as well.
A lot to look forward to. I know most of it's on the road this week, so y'all get a little bit of a breather, but still a lot to look forward to, and hopefully we can pull off some wins this week.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, stay tuned for more coming up on Inside Troy Athletics. Welcome back to our final segment on Inside Troy Athletics, and I'm here with the volleyball coach of the Trojans, and that's Coach Sonny Kirkpatrick. And Coach, you were home over the weekend for the Trojan Invitational. 1-2 for your team over the weekend, but it was strong competition out there.
We had some really good teams come in. Austin Peay came in, Southern, Valparaiso, and New Mexico State. We had played Austin Peay last weekend, so we didn't play them in back-to-back weeks. I had the chance to play against Valparaiso and New Mexico State, 2 teams inside the top 100 of the RPI. And with the way that as good as our conference is, those are the teams that we have to be able to compete with and beat. And the only way that you can do that is to play those teams prior to getting into conference play. And we played really well against Valpo, a lot better than we did last year, so that shows growth on our part. New Mexico State won the WAC last season, and I think they went to Stanford for the first round of the NCAAs, and we're a really solid team. And we competed pretty well against them at points too. So we're getting better, and that's the biggest goal of what we're trying to do prior to getting into conference play.
So you're seeing progress in your team. I know it's a younger team, and you've changed some things up. Do you think they're finally grasping those things and going to be better moving forward?
Absolutely. You never want to be settled or be happy with losses, but when you look out, and against Southern we had 5 freshmen on the floor and a junior, so the future of our team is really, really good, and getting those kids the experience that they need to be able to compete at a higher level really gives us a really bright future, and we're looking forward to competing again this week.
Now, where are you heading to this week?
We go up to Alabama State. We play Alabama State on Friday evening, and then we play Chicago State and Savannah State on Saturday. Okay. And Chicago State's just an enormous team. They've got a girl listed at 6'7", 165, and a couple 6'3". So it's going to be a challenge for us. Ultimately, we can't worry about what happens on the other side of the net. Right. We just have to kind of make sure that we take care of our own side. And this past weekend, when we passed well and played good defense, it was a lot of fun to watch. And we know that we can compete against good teams when we're doing the stuff on our side that we need to.
Now, how does it change things up for y'all when you play somebody with that kind of size? Do you change up your philosophy of how you go out there and attack them?
We don't. It just means that our passing has to be on, because if we allow their front row to stand still or to not move very much, then it's not going to be good for us. Right. If we pass well, that lets our offense go really, really fast. And if that's the case, then I always know we have a chance to win, because I think we've got some pretty dynamic players.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck this weekend up in Montgomery. Maybe some Trojans will go out there and watch y'all and support you out there in the capital city.
Thank you very much, Jonathan.
All right, and join us again next time for more on Inside Troy Athletics.